A very good morning to all our viewers. You've tuned in live to Moneycontrol, watching Newspresso with me, Stacy Pereira. In the next few minutes, we are going to be giving you a lowdown of all the action, all the top stories from across the globe, all that's transpiring within India, and also those latest trends to keep you ahead, giving you that edge. So let's get straight to it and bring you all that we're getting from our global dispatch. Indices on Wall Street have managed to snap their three-day losing streak to close in the green. The Dow Jones recovered from last week's losses to gain over 200 points. The S&P 500 rose about 0.24%, while the Nasdaq Composite, that one gained about 0.18%. All eyes are now on the CPI print, which is due on Wednesday, followed by the Producer Price Index, a measure of wholesale price pressures, which will be released on Thursday. Now, investors have also a slew of quarterly reports that they have to consider this week for the likes of JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, as well, all of these in the Q2 earnings that will kick off this week. And European markets have closed slightly higher as well last evening as investors digest that surprisingly low Chinese inflation reading, as well as they look ahead to that key US data and the corporate earnings, which will start off this week. Now, the Pan-European Stock 600, that index ended up higher by just about 0.2%, having reversed those opening losses of around 0.3%. But it was the travel and leisure stocks which added about 1.3% and led those gains, while mining stocks were the ones that shared a point by 0.6%. Now, among the stock-specific action, OSB Group, that one gained more than 8% on Monday to partially recoup those Friday's losses, where the stock nosedived about 27%. Other stocks that were abuzz was Just Eat Takeaway, which added about 5.5% in trade yesterday. And markets in Asia Pacific region have positive data, in fact, to cheer, as well as to track the cues that they're getting from Wall Street, wherein China's consumer price index has now come in on a flat line for the month of June on a year-on-year basis. This is the lowest level since February of 2021. Meanwhile, the producer price, that one has fallen to about a 5.4% YOY, the fastest rate of decline since December 2015. In Japan, the Nikkei 225 is trading higher by about 0.6%. South Korea's Kospi is open in the positive territory too. Australia, that one has climbed a mere 0.22%, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index, that one is rebounding and looking to extend its gain. Back home here, the GIFT Nifty 2 is signaling a positive start for the Indian indices. A quick wrap of all that's transpiring in the commodity space. Well, oil traders are cautious ahead of that US CPI, as well as slew of data releases from China. Brent crude futures fell about 19 cents or 0.2% to trade around that $78.28 per barrel. Now, remember, last week oil prices gained as much as 4% after Saudi Arabia as well as Russia pledged to deepen supply cuts in August. And the US President Joe Biden, he met with England's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. They met in Sunak's office for talks before that crucial NATO summit. Now, the NATO summit agenda was the one to discuss solidarity with Ukraine over the Russia-Ukraine crisis. Ukraine has been wanting to join NATO ever since the war broke out with Russia. After the meeting, Sunak, the US president, said that relations between the US and UK are rock solid. Biden also went ahead and met King Charles at the Windsor Castle. Meanwhile, in the NATO sphere of things, Turkey has agreed to ratify Sweden's NATO membership. Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said that this move moves Sweden's ascension to the NATO alliance. Sweden has formally applied for the membership about a year ago. And global tech giant Microsoft has been eliminating those additional jobs as well in this fiscal, according to the Geekwire report. Now, this downsizing exercise will be beyond that 10,000 layoffs it announced in January this year. Microsoft has said in recent months that clients are looking for ways to save money on the cloud computing bill. Microsoft filed a notice last evening saying that it would cut 276 people in its home state of Washington. Of those, about 66 of those jobs are virtual jobs. Now, these could be jobs relating to customer service, support, as well as from the sales team. Those were the ones that could be impacted in this round of layoffs by Microsoft. And the Arctic sea ice, that level has hit an alarming record low in June. Now, the World Meteorological Organization said that as per the satellite observation, the ice levels are 17% below average. Now, world oceans are spreading far beyond their surface. In May and June, we saw the global sea surface temperatures at record high levels, in fact. However, the organization has also said that the El Nino is contributing to these high level of temperatures.
And the scientific community is struggling to a certain extent to keep up. I see a lot of things online in social media with scientists being incredibly concerned about particularly the ocean temperatures and the reduction in sea ice extent. Because we have to remember that the oceans absorb more than 90% of the excess heat that humans put into the atmosphere because of greenhouse gases. So that's where we need to make these reductions.
And a quick recap of all that transpired on the Lal Street yesterday, and also what you could be looking forward to in today's market action. Well, we did see the Sensex and Nifty perk up in that opening trade, however, failed to hold on to those gains. In the end, we saw the Sensex in the red, also losing about 60 odd points, whereas the Nifty, that one also closing on a flat line. Now, bank stocks were the ones that declined in trade, but more importantly, it was the mid-cap that saw the sharper cuts. The mid-cap index losing nearly 140 odd points. Now, among the stocks in focus today, though, will be Vedanta, and we'll tell you why in just a bit. But we also have our radar on car trade, which could be looking at buying OLX, the Auto Vertical, as well as SBI Card, which could see some management changes. The 50th meeting of the GST Council will also take place today in New Delhi and will be chaired by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. The meeting will be attended by the Minister of State for Finance, Pankaj Chaudhary, besides the Finance Minister of each state as well as Union Territories, along with senior officials from both the state as well as centre. Now, among the items on the agenda is the group of ministers' report on online gaming casinos as well as horse trading, and whether they're going to be taxing it at about 28%. There will also be members will look to finalize the rules of the GST Appellate Tribunal, as well as we're going to hear from opposition states and whether they are going to be putting on pressure to the centre over the compensation they get for GST. Many are even suggesting a revision in the revenue sharing model in order to favour the states. And that big story that we've been talking about, in a blow to India's semiconductor mission as well as Make in India, Taiwan's Foxconn has withdrawn from that $19.5 billion chip-making joint venture with Vedanta. Now, both the companies had no prior semiconductor experience or the technology to hold that, and were expecting this to source it from a technology partner. However, in May this year, the joint venture was reportedly struggling to tie up with a technology partner. Vedanta and Foxconn had then signed this agreement in September 2022 with an investment of about $19.5 billion in order to set up the semiconductor as well as display production plant in Gujarat. Vedanta now has still said that it is committed to completing this project as well as look for other partners that it could tie up with. We could see some action in the defense space in the coming days. That's because Prime Minister Narendra Modi could announce the purchase of another 26 Rafale fighter jets as well as 3 Scorpion-class conventional submarines from France. This could happen during his visit to celebrate France National Day that he has been invited to by President Macron on the July 14th. Now, as per the proposal, the Indian Navy will acquire 22 single-seated Rafale Marines aircrafts from France along with 4 trainer aircrafts as well. Together, the deals are estimated to be more than 90,000 crore rupees. However, the cost is yet to be finalized. And of course, it's a rain fury across the country, we could say, and monsoons continue to take lives across North India. Over 34 people have died due to the heavy rainfall. Many distressing visuals that have emerged from various northern states. Himachal Pradesh is among the worst affected, with flash floods were triggered due to the continuous downpour. We also have similar incidents were reported in neighboring Uttarakhand as well. Now, the authorities have asked people to stay indoors as much as possible as the heavy rain is predicted to continue. In fact, schools in Delhi, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh's Ghaziabad will remain shut. In fact, a red alert too has been issued in Katwa as well as Samba districts of Jammu and Kashmir. Although the Amarnath Yatra, that one has resumed from the Panchtadni as well as Sheshnag base camps after those were suspended for about 3 days. And to all the trends that you should be tracking, well, we have 4 Indian origin women, including Jayshree Ullal, Neerja Sethi, Neha, Narkhede and Indra, Nooyi, who've made it to Forbes among the America's 100 richest self-made women. Now, their combined net worth is somewhere whooping $4.06 billion. In fact, bolstered in part by a rebound in the stock markets, they have cumulatively worth a record $124 billion. This is up nearly 12% from the year ago. Forbes, in fact, has gone ahead to say this is its 9th annual list, wherein Jayshree Ullal has ranked a 15th on the list and has a net worth of about $2.4 billion. Neerja Sethi ranks a 25th on the list and has a net worth of $990 million. Neha Narkhede is ranked 50th on the list and has a net worth of $520 million, whereas Indra, Nooyi, she has a net worth of $350 million and is ranked 77th on that list. Now, to compile the net worths, Forbes values individuals' assets, including the stakes in public companies, using stock presence as well as from May 12th in order to come to this conclusion. So quite a reason to be proud. We have 4 Indian origin American women there making it to that list. But in other news, we also have former captain Virat Kohli, who went all nostalgic on his social media. He shared a picture with Rahul Dravid, which he captioned saying, "The only 2 guys a part of the last test we played at the Dominica in 2011. Never imagined the journey would bring us back here in different capacities. Highly grateful," unquote. Now, this is completely a nostalgic moment where Kohli and Dravid both were teammates back in 2011. The two are now enjoying a Dominican reunion, one could say. The Indian cricket team is in the West Indies. The test series between both countries will kick off tomorrow, which is the 12th of July. Kohli is the only player to be the part of the current tour from the test squad of 2011. And 3 tailors in one frame. Well, yes, that's what we are talking about. After the release of her brand new song, I Can See You, Taylor Swift dropped BTS pictures, and in one of them, Taylor has recreated that classic Spider-Man meme where her, as well as Taylor Lautner and his wife, who is also named Taylor Lautner, were seen pointing fingers at each other. Now, Swift wrote that Taylor is incredible in this, isn't it? Didn't he have a stunt double? Now, the singer is also making more than $13 million from each of her concerts at her Eras tour, which is an over average about 50,000 fans attending each concert. In fact, there is also possibility that Taylor Swift's tour will be the first one to reach the top $1 billion mark after she concludes this tour in London next year. For every ticket that the singer is charging $200+ per ticket. And well, let's also get you up to speed with what you need to be looking out for today. It is going to be your final chance to opt for a higher pension under that employment pension scheme based on your annual basic salary. Now, this is beyond that statutory limit of 15,000 and which will end today. So that deadline, remember, has been extended about 3 times already. If it is what you want to do, that higher pension for your lifetime post-retirement plan, then you need to not waste any more time because today is that deadline. Also, if you are someone who keeps track of all that transpires in the courtroom, a clutch of petitions challenging the scrapping of Article 370, which gave special status to Jammu and Kashmir, that one will be taken up by the Supreme Court as well today after a gap of 3 years. So that could be very interesting to see what that turns out to be. And in sporting action, obviously, we do have India's Rohan Bopanna as well as Matthew Ebden, who have advanced the pre-quarterfinals of the round of 16 of the ongoing Wimbledon 2023. The men's double tournament event is what they are playing for, and now they will take on Dutch-American pair of David Pell as well as Reese Stadler in the pre-quarterfinals, which will be played later today. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of a Newspresso. Hope this dose was useful with as much as information that you need to give you that kickstart to the day. But don't forget to come back tomorrow, same place, same time, because we'll be back with your fresh shot of Newspresso. From everyone putting this show together, thanks so much for tuning in.